Good evening. I'm trying to move away from all the crap that's going on around here, which sometimes is extremely difficult. When I say difficult, meaning difficult to not tread on the same subject in some way or other. Those that watch these videos, I'm hoping that they're at least learning that nothing's always rosy. You know, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, whether you're in America or England, Australia. These things can happen regardless of whom you're with. You don't have to be with a Filipina, but it certainly maybe doesn't help. You know, I'm thinking about building issues, building houses, getting houses built, buying land, all that type of thing. And what comes to mind has been brought to me very in the forefront. You know, about 6 years ago when we first started building this house, there's a lot of excitement, certainly on my side, about the future and the building of the home. And with my own background in construction and also engineering, the hands-on approach that I applied was important to me. And whilst at each level I was here every single day of the construction. And when it came to the shell being up and we were ready to start constructing the roof, we had to go out and find contractors in the neighborhood that we could see work being done and we could get a pretty good idea as to the quality of the work and also the cost. So we went around to probably about 3 different people, and one of them was actually, he gave us a quote for the roof around about 320,000 pesos. That's supply and put it in, labor, the whole bit. And that, on the face of it, seemed, oh, that's fair enough. Yeah, okay, I'll go with that in my mind. Wait and see how the others come. Everybody gave us written quotes. And one particular one was where I was buying a lot of the materials from, a local hardware store, quite a big one. And very, very friendly inside, almost flirtatious, the people in trying to get my business. And inevitably, we were confronted with, well, we were asked if they could quote. And in this particular case, it was a woman. So a young woman, quite young, maybe 25 maybe? Don't hold me to that. They all look the same at that age. But she wanted to quote the price, so she was very eager to come down. And I think when she did come down, she came down with another guy. And the other guy was actually in the business of doing windows. That was his business. There was some connection, maybe uncles, cousins, maybe church followers, whatever they were connected in some way. Anyway, she gave me a quote, and the quote came in around about, if I remember rightly, about 195,000 or 198. Which was about 100,000 pesos cheaper than the other. And I thought, oh well, maybe it was the white tax on the first one. Then the third quote came in, which was somewhere between the big one and the one that the lady gave me. Around 250, I think it was. Anyway, we decided to go after quite a bit of toing and froing with my then partner to employ them to put the roof together. I did many photos that I put on my Facebook in following it through the different stages. Everything went pretty smoothly. I did lose a few tools off the site that I was a bit disappointed that that they sort of grew legs and wandered, because I've never lost anything otherwise off the site. But it was rather ironic that I ended up having to buy a welding machine, because the one that they supplied looked like it had come out of some kind of old museum in the 1890s, held together literally with bits of tie wire and sticking tape to hold it all together. But it kept letting them down. So in the end, I got about a 6,000 peso stainless steel welder. It wasn't a stainless steel for stainless steel, it was just the main body of it was made of stainless steel. Very heavy, but able to be lifted. Even, I would say it was probably close to 30 kilos almost. Must be a big transformer inside. Anyway, cutting a long story short, they put the roof on. It didn't leak at the start. We did have a few heavy rains, and there were a few spots that initially showed sign of a leak, but over time they disappeared. Not quite sure why. Did get one of my guys to go up and have a look at the point. He did put some sealant around one of the screws that went into the roof, and it seems to have rectified the problem. Again, could have happened to anybody, but in my case it was a bit disappointing that brand new roof, brand new design, following the plans, and not what I would have said was up to scratch. And I had to ensure that they got up and double coated the red oxide paint on all of the structure, and double check the welding and hanging, the bending over of the steel to hold the trusses into place, because it basically was a sloped roof, which would only have maybe 18 inches between that and the ceiling, and it would follow the angles of the roof. So we were getting the maximum area of height in the upper area of the house. Now, of course, as time went on, the windows went in, and they took for ages to get. When I'm saying ages, from the time they measured up, and I made sure that all the window spaces were plumb, level, even spacing between, even to the point of top coating, so that when the aluminium went in, the frame that they then attached the window to would be nice and neat and easy to silicon around. But initially they came and put maybe 8 windows in, and that took them maybe 4 days to put them in, which shouldn't have taken them more than a day. They kept going away, coming back. I think they had another job to do. And in the end, finally, about 3.5 to 4 months later, they finally put the last of the windows, the doors in. Again, not very happy, because after all, a door is supposed to be waterproof. And to leave nearly 1/4 of an inch between the two doors swinging together is not what I call a tight seal. Anyway, we let it go. And in the process, I then was approached by the young lady, who at that stage had given birth to a baby. She was pregnant, I believe, at the time of quoting. So I'm not quite sure whether, yes, she'd had the baby then. But she then came back for more money for the roof. And I was loath to tell my partner that suddenly I was being asked to gazump the price given for the roof. So I tried to do the negotiating myself, which of course, probably in hindsight, wasn't a good idea, at least maybe not without someone there. As things went on, it was quite clear she was begging to get the additional money, claiming that she wouldn't even be able to, wouldn't be able to even buy milk for her baby, her newborn. And she was offering all sorts of inducements to do so. But little did I know, she was recording the conversation to make me look out like I was an idiot or some kind of molester. And a lot happened after that. She did get some extra money. But maybe a few months later, when the roof needed doing, suddenly that issue came up again. But then at that time, my partner stood behind me and we gave them short change and told them on their way, even though she had her little so-called recording of what was going on. And it highlights how dangerous things can be perceived by others, not only your Filipina, but also other Filipinas who want to use a little bit of influence over you. So it's always wise when you do your negotiating, not always to have your partner with you, but somebody independent who can do the talking for you as well, who understands what you want, and they do the negotiating. Because, strangely enough, we get back to relationships. Isn't it funny how 6 years later, never mentioned after, except maybe occasionally when they want their tempo to have a bit of gusto in it, suddenly now it's coming to the head and being used to coerce me into leaving the home or to not push the fact that I have to leave. And this is where the Filipina has the edge over you. Mainly because if it happened in the West, you'd be straight to your lawyer and he or she would be put straight away. Lawyers would write their letters, end of discussion. If you want to take this further, madam, we're willing to fight it. Here, you're the Filipina versus the foreigner. And the foreigner is always in the wrong. It doesn't matter how much proof you've got, how much evidence you've collected. Another example, never thought at the time, when I was buying materials, I naturally, who do I put the name on? I'm thinking, oh, put it under partner's name. Of course, now I'd say, well, I built your house. Doesn't say it. They'll say, all the receipts are in my name. Of course. Now tell me the bigger plan isn't behind a lot of Filipinos. We gullibly go along. We put our guard down and we think that the person that we're going to be with, the person we plan our time with, is going to be with you, watching your back, when in fact she's accumulating things that she can use to put pressure on you later down the track. When she's decided unilaterally that she no longer wants you anymore, house is built, okay, there's a bit to be finished, but I can do that over time, she'll say. And that is very important. This is why so many of you guys maybe think, and maybe wisely, that it's not always a good idea to build a house for your Filipina. You can have good intention, providing a legacy for when you're gone, providing security for her and her children when you're gone, an inheritance for her to give to her children, and likewise to their grandchildren. But just remember, cunningness, conniving, and devious ways are all part of human nature, not just Filipinos. But boy, oh boy, if you're here and you come to have to face that, sometimes it's better just to pack your bags and go. And having said go, it looks pretty well on the cards that I might have to postpone my trip to Manila. Two reasons. One, because of the most recent change in the weather, another typhoon, just when I'm planning to go down there. And the other one is that the uncertainty that's been put into my mind by those around me, suggesting that it's maybe not safe to leave the house because there may not be access back into it when I return. So we need to find out exactly where I'm going to be going and what my plans are, not the plans of someone who has an ulterior motive. So I hope that helps you understand some of the interesting ways of building homes, and when things do go wrong, how easily they can be brought back up and rubbed in your face. So if you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. It's going up. Bye now.